like that, we're back. Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T, man. Thanks for hanging out with me. This is what I normally do, the countdown. I'll do an intro monologue. We're going to talk about all the games that happened yesterday, right? We're going to talk about the Minnesota game, which is, I don't understand it, bro. Josh Dobbs, and they're killing it with Minnesota, bro. Shout out to their coach, whatever. And I'm going to be right back. Let me do this intro. Before we do this intro, guess what, man? This is what I'm trying to do for y'all. I'm trying to make the show
We will be perfect in every aspect of the game. You drop a pass, you run a mile. You miss a blocking assignment, you run a mile. You fumble the football, and I will break my foot off in your John Brown hind parts. And then you will run a mile. Perfection. Let's go to work. We will be perfect.
Go to work.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I fill my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future. We bear down.
And just like that, we're back. Thank y'all for hanging out with me for this test of Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T. Listen, I'm switching over platforms. This is why I'm running this test. Obviously, I got to work on that transition right there, that transition from, my sound right there. I don't know. They put the sounds down at the bottom, so it makes it even harder, right? So when you're trying to do little cool stuff like this, 1-7 Bears, you're correct, man. Luke Getsy did almost cost the game. I thought he called the last game pretty conservatively. I had Tyson Bagent. If y'all caught the pregame show, I thought he was going to have one of his better shows. That was my one of his best shows. One of his better games. That's my expectation. I expected him to throw for between 250 and 275 coming out of that New Orleans game. And this was a worse defense than New Orleans, right? They don't have the pass rushers that New Orleans had. They didn't have the defensive backfield that New Orleans had. So I expected them to come out slinging it all over the yard and hoping Tyson can, light up the skies. Now, I will say this, not picking on the kid, but there was some deep shots that he missed on that probably could have got his stat line up there a little bit. But for me, it all goes back down to Luke, right? And I say the same thing about Justin as Tyson, as I said about Justin when dealing with Luke, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Justin ever trusted Luke from the beginning and the offense from the beginning or what he was trying to do within context and that particular where we were in the season. First 3 games, I didn't believe Justin trusted him for where we were. And what I mean by that, who is that? Michael White just said this comment right here, right? Mike just said this right here about what Baldy said, right? Baldy says about, catching up 4 games for us to catch up with film, right? I would use that same tape to talk about how long it takes for you to get your rhythm going offensively as an offensive football team, right? So you take that into consideration and you think about our first 4 games of the season. We didn't really get going until the 4th game of the season, right? Offensively, I think that was a defense of the Denver game or the game before it where we showed, I think it was the Denver game, where we showed progress. And I said from the beginning that I thought Luke was trying to do too much too fast coming into the season, that he should have ramped the offense up, right? He should have started with running the ball like we did last year, right, and dominating on the ground. And then he slowly implemented, more and more of his pass concepts to make sure the entire offense was on the same sheet of music. It's one thing to have the quarterback know the play, but since we did the DM section, let me go ahead and holler at y'all in the DM section so I can see what y'all talking about. Let me bring y'all comments up. Uh, Michael White says Dobbs in Minnesota, a few games to go. Plus, Flores is a more aggressive coach. Absolutely, man. How you call the defensive game is critical to what you do on offense, man. But also, I got to give that head coach some props, man. Like I said before, you know what I'm saying. What I'm hearing about what they did or what they're doing in Minnesota to bring Josh Dobbs up to speed on the offense is phenomenal. First of all, everybody's like helping them out. The offensive linemen are helping them with the cadence and the center calls and getting them on point. You know what I'm saying? And then the offensive coordinator / head coach is simplifying the offense. And then you got wide receivers in the huddle telling them what route combos he has. So the wide receivers have to be on point and knowing their assignments and all assignments. And I think he's just taking like the first 2 or 3 reads, first 1 or 2 reads in the book. But again, the offensive coordinator the head coach has to call things that makes it easier for him to be able to do what he does, man, in those situations, right? So that's what it works. That's how it works for that. You know what I'm saying? He has to be able to simplify things for him, so he'll be able to, you know what I'm saying, be able to do what he does out there. So it's been very impressive, man. I don't know what it's going to look like when we go against Minnesota right now. It's what you would have thought would have been a simple, you know what I'm saying, something simple that we can do going into that game, but it don't seem like it's going to be that easy a win when we go into that. So we're dealing with the things we're dealing with. Michael White says offensively, Gessler seems to think his theory of offense needs to be proven right. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I don't know that. So this is my feeling on that. I don't know that. Again, I'm not going to attribute it to ego. You know what I'm saying? Ego, but that's a portion of it, because I remember when I was first starting out and I was in those positions and people were trying to tell me things too. And you know what you know, so you're going to do what you know to do, right? And then not until you have time off or time of reflection do you realize, damn, bro, like I see how I could have better helped my team by, you know what I'm saying, playing kind of power ball, clock control. I remember because I ran a tempo style offense, no huddle, tempo. I want to play fast. I want to tire the defense out. But I didn't realize if it was clicking, it was clicking. It was working. We were scoring a lot of points. But when the kids had off days and it wasn't clicking, I was having a bunch of 3 and outs. It was tough on our defense, and I was wearing our own defense out instead of wearing the opponent's defense out. And so you know what you know, man. And sometimes you know what you know, you do what you do. And that's why I give the guy a little bit of grace, because I feel for him in the sense that, you know, and I've been in that room before. I've been in that position where you're like, right, everybody's in your ear and you're like, bro, but I'm trying to run my stuff. If y'all just let me run my stuff, it'll work. But he's wrong. That's what I've taken out of this whole Luke Getsy situation personally for myself, is I reflected on probably my last stop where I wanted to run my stuff and my defensive coordinator was not happy with me. He was not happy. He was like, bro, you're wearing my defense out. You're playing when it's working. When you're putting up points, we're killing. It's almost bipolar. You know what I'm saying? Because when the offense is in a fast tempo offense, when you're putting up points, you're wearing the defense out and you're killing them. But you better be clicking every game. And you got to recognize when you having a bad day, and you know what I'm saying, kids are dropping balls and pause, and they're not clicking and they're not doing their job, it's going to be a rough day for you, man. So, you know, that's why I'm a little bit empathetic towards Luke, man, because it's not an easy job. It's the NFL, you know. Yeah, I ain't making excuses for the guy. I still think at the NFL level, you know, if a head coach has about 4 years to implement his system, how long do y'all think a offensive coordinator should get before he starts having traction and moving in the right direction, right? Because what's going to happen is the typical blame cycle is going to happen. Quarterback, head coach, GM, never the offensive coordinator. But Bears fans have turned their attention towards the offensive coordinator. So, you know what I'm saying? And I think rightfully so. This is an interesting comment right here because I've been seeing a lot of conversation about CJ Stroud on Bears land. And I think it makes for an interesting conversation. Another point, Stroud in Houston has aggressive coach and Ryan who uses Dale in the slot. And yeah, bro, the emphasis is coaching, period. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's your head coach, because I talked about this before. If Luke is not producing as the offensive coordinator, it's incumbent upon Coach Flus to go in there and say, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? In order for this defense to play well, you have to play this style of ball, right? You need to run the ball. You need to play power ball. You need to play clock control call. I need you, in order for my defense to perform well, because I'm getting feedback from my defensive players. Excuse me. They need rest. They need this. They need that, right? This defense is not good enough. This defense is not good enough to play multiple. They're not good enough to be on the field a lot. So you have to play ball control offense, right? And you're gonna have to dial back a lot of those 11 personnel, gun heavy or empty formation, trying to spread us out because those, if they're incompletions or they're net no gains, it's a waste. It's a waste of a play. And this offense can't afford to waste plays. So, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're doing with that, right? So we have to be mindful of that. In their life, man. You just keep idiots out of your space, man, and you don't have to worry about it. So 1-7 said 2 years as well. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is 2 years for Luke Getsy, man, and he just needs to, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm even giving him the next however many games, 6, 7 games we have to pull something together to show assemblage. Because listen, we want to be out here talking about firing everybody. This man got a family, feed, all that other stuff. But guess what? You gotta, you know what I'm saying? You gotta do your thing, and put some product out there, or it might not be your time. Guess what? Luke Guess is going to get another opportunity, a la Matt Nagy. Can't even talk. You know what I'm saying? Matt just bounced himself back to KC, and watch this. Somebody's going to take a flyer on Matt Nagy in 3 or 4 years and get him another opportunity to coach again as a head coach or offensive coordinator somewhere or something like that. So, yeah, go back to the drawing board, Luke Getsy, and see what you can pull together, man. So, why don't they use 22 formation to make it clear a safety high and a man coverage underneath? 22, you're talking about 22 personnel? 22 personnel. I need you to clarify that for me. 22 personnel. Let me see if that works in context. 22 personnel to make it clear a safety high and man coverage. Oh, I get it. Yeah. 22 personnel would dictate that. I don't know the answer to your question why he doesn't. 22 personnel, 21 personnel is a strength of ours. We have 2 power running backs, or we have a power running back and a speedy, quick twitch running back. We have a fullback and a power running back. We have a fullback and a quick twitch running back. There's a number of combinations that Luke can use with his running backs out of 21 and 22 personnel that would do exactly what Michael's talking about and force defenses in the single high safety, and we can go play action and throw the ball over your head. I was struggling there for a second to okay, yeah, you're talking about 22 personnel. But I put the context clues together, Mike. I'm tracking with you, buddy. Tracking with you. I understand what you're saying exactly. Two backs, two tight ends, exactly. Force them to single high safety, and then you know what I'm saying. You run the ball down their throat, and then take your shots. This is exactly how we need to play, Mike. Especially again as it gets cold in Chicago. This is exactly what you want to see us do, because you can't line up in empty sets. You can't line up in empty sets in 11 personnel out of guns when the wind starts howling off of Lake Michigan in December and January, and it's cold as balls at Soldier Field. You can't line up and play ball that kind of way. And let's face it, teams. I was at the LA game 2018. I was at the LA Rams game at Soldier Field, man. Teams, and I never forget it. Quick story. There were Rams fans that came from LA to see the Bears play at Soldier Field. They said it was a bucket list thing. And I was on like the third row. They were on the very first row. Mid like 50-yard line seats, great seats, by the way. And they were on the first row, and I was like on the third row, me and my cousin. And bro, they came in, they were all juiced up, ready to see the game. You know what I'm saying? The sun hadn't really set on Soldier Field yet. You know what I'm saying? It was a Monday night game, I believe. It was a Monday or Sunday night game. And by halftime, I kept telling them, I said, listen, y'all having a good time now, but by halftime, it's going to be a different story. It's going to be a different story. And sure enough, our defense was playing lights out. Mitch at the time, you know what I'm saying? The offense really wasn't moving the ball that well, but our defense was flying around, making plays. And by halftime, bro, the fans were totally out of the game. So yeah, people don't want to play ball like that in Chicago when it starts getting cold out. They don't want to go up against 22, 21 personnel. You running down the ball down their throat and taking shots down the field. Now, you know what I'm saying? If and once we get a stadium, that might affect a whole lot of things and how we decide to play ball. Do me a favor, man. Share this live, bro, because I'm on here. I'm running a test, but we might as well talk ball. I'm going to clip this up and try to turn it into a show since we talking ball anyway. Coach T is answering questions, and we just having the Bears. We having the Bears talk on this Monday, coming off the short week, Thursday night game, sort of mini bye. We're getting into it. I've tested everything I need to test on StreamYard. Shout out to StreamYard. I'm officially changing over platforms. And one of the main reasons why I'm doing that so I can have guests on the show, and it come up clear. I've been having some guests on the show, and it wasn't working out for me. So do me a favor, y'all see the banner, man. Like, subscribe, and share the live so we can talk some ball, man. I'm off today. I only have one little honeydew to take care of today, and that's putting together some furniture. So we can talk ball, man, all day long. So let me go back a bit, and I'll get y'all questions in the chat. Yeah, somebody was Believe Me. Shout out to Believe Me for addressing the tribe, Ghost the Tribe of Judah. Listen, man, like I said, I'm not gonna give over the negativity, bro. Y'all see the energy I give off, man. And I would debate football with anybody as long as it's a football discussion, man. When it starts getting trolly or personal and stuff like that, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get pissed off. I'm gonna take it personal, especially when I put time into this, you know what I'm saying, providing you guys a platform to talk Bears football on it. I want to talk football. I want to talk X's and O's. I want to talk about coaching philosophy. I want to talk about, you know what I'm saying, the nuances of the game. So, yeah, we're going to get into some of that. We're going to keep it respectful and stuff like that, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. On my day off, man, I'm going to spend some time with y'all talking Bears football. I'm going to try and click this up and make it into an official show, even though I was only doing a test for today. Great question by Michael White. We addressed the question about 22 personnel. I'm just going to have Michael clean up his 22 personnel, Mike. So we know what you're talking about. I'm going to be a stickler for the details, right? I got to be a stickler for the details, Mike. Why? Why we?
We will be perfect.
We got to be perfect, Mike. Listen, you heard Coach Boone. We got to be perfect, man, with the personnel talk. That's like, you know what I'm saying? Because again, the aim of the platform is to make a smarter, more intelligent football base with our Chicago Bears 360 audience right there. So shout out to Mike, though. That lets me know you've been paying attention, though, when I start talking about personnel, 11, 10, 11, 12, 21, 22 personnel. James Forrest said, I just want to hear good football analysis. Yeah, man. Like, listen, bro, let's just talk ball, bro. It's Monday. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really likes working on Mondays anyway. Let's see. Believe me, let's get into it. Believe say, do you think we should bring up the fullback from the practice squad? He's pretty good during the preseason. I don't know why we didn't in the Thursday night game with Corey Blasingame down. So you want to stay away from like why you got two choices. You can bring the kid up or you can put the you're saying one of your tight ends in to play fullback. But again, why would you want to get yourself out of a situation where you have to change your playbook and what you do philosophically because you had a guy go down? And this was part of my take coming out of the Washington game when we had both of our running backs go down because, again, with Luke's experience, I didn't feel confident that Luke would, you know what I'm saying, know what to do coming out of the Washington game because he had both his starting running backs go down. And we struggled mightily with those running backs down in the Minnesota game. So, yeah, no, I'm there with you. Why not bring a guy up so you can continue to play do what you do philosophically. I'm catching up with the comments. So you can continue to do what you do philosophically with your offense, unless you just don't trust the guy. And I've been there before too. You got, you know what I'm saying, some slap nuts on the bench or on the practice squad that doesn't really practice hard or doesn't really know the playbook, and you don't feel confident you can do all your stuff with them, and you say, nah, I'd just rather do without them. So LA Tom. What up, LA, man? Thanks for joining us. Do me a favor, LA. I haven't seen you in the chat before, man, but hang out with me, man. I like to see new faces, you know what I'm saying, in part of the program. So do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, man. And we'll appreciate having you, man. Hang out with, you know what I'm saying, the Chicago Bears 360 family, man. I'm not totally sold on taking a quarterback early in the draft. I think Justin has the tools to be a winner. It would also be a setback for him to learn another playback. I don't disagree with that statement at all. Once holistically, I don't disagree with the statement, right? And here's my take on Justin, right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm a Justin Fields supporter because the Chicago Bears haven't really drafted anybody into Justin's skill set in the history of the organization. Is why it's groundbreaking that we drafted somebody like Justin Fields, right? You know what I'm saying? Raw skill set. We were sold on developing Justin Fields, right? What we didn't know was develop Justin Fields into what, right? We were sold on Luke Getsy's system and it being a Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay style outside zone, inside zone system, which we ran a lot of last year. We ran a lot of outside, inside zone last year. We also ran a lot of power gap concepts, right? Last year. And we led the league in rushing last year. So we get a few weapons and Luke decides, hey, I'm just going to open up the playbook and we're going to start going multiple empty formations, 11 personnel, spread gun, and go with a toss the ball over the yard type of offense like Aaron Rodgers ran. However, and by the way, I would say that is not Kyle Shanahan. It is not Sean McVay. That is more Mike McCarthy. And everybody and their grandma wants to call me right now. But anyway, so we decided to go with a more McCarthy-style systems, and Luke chooses to implement that system, that pass-happy system, shotgun, empty formation stuff towards the beginning of the season. And I'm saying that the critical mistake was not that he wanted to do it. It was when he wanted to do it. You're coming off the year where you led the league in rushing. Why not go back to that and start the system, start the season that way, dominate on the ground, dominate up front, get your offensive lineman coming off the ball, dishing out punishment versus sitting back in heavy gun formations and taking punishment. Get those guys oiled up into the season, and then you slowly start ramping up some of those high empty formations, 11 personnel, shotgun, pass happy stuff. Do some of that stuff with Justin at the end of the season, unless he was told explicitly by Coach Eberflus and Ryan Poles to go out there and sling it to see what we got. And that's the only excuse he would have for coming out and starting the season the way he did. I threw up a chart and a few shows ago that showed when we go 12 plus personnel, 12, 13, 22, and 21 personnel, this offense thrives. It thrives in a heavier formation sets when we have multiple tight ends, multiple running backs, fullbacks, and we play a certain style. So you're not wrong. I'm not totally sold on taking a quarterback, especially somebody like Caleb Williams, especially when we don't have the offensive line secured up, that we will potentially have the same challenges. We would have the same challenges with Caleb Williams, Drake May, or any quarterback you put in the position as we would do with Justin. Sure up around him. And this is the part of the conversation that I want to, you know what I'm saying? I want to, put into your thought process, right, about the quarterback situation. I asked the question, and I'll ask the question in the chat, right? How would you classify Jay Cutler as a quarterback? Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the live, man. This is you know what I'm saying? I'm crazy. I think I'm sold on StreamYard because this is the most people in the chat I've ever had. So shout out to y'all, man. Do me a favor. Continue to like, subscribe, share as you come in. I've seen some new faces I've never seen before, man. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us on that. But back to the take. The take is this. What do y'all feel about how would you classify Jay Cutler as a quarterback? Because I feel like Jay is the bar in terms of modern quarterback who was the best quarterback we had in the modern football era in Chicago. Was his career average, above average? Was he good? Was he great? A great quarterback. Y'all let me know in the chat, and then I'll follow that up because I want people to think about, not think how I think about quarterback play, but you know what I'm saying? I have a perspective on Justin Fields. If Justin Fields sticks around in Chicago, you know what I'm saying? What's the barometer on like what's the ruler? What's the measuring stick for Justin Fields if he sticks around Chicago? Like, are we expecting him to go? Is the measuring stick we to go from never having a great quarterback to Justin to being great? Or if Jay Cutler was average to just above average in the good category, I think we should James says here, a good quarterback. That's what I think of Jay Cutler. I agree. That was a setup question from James. I agree with James right here. James says he think of Jay Cutler as a good quarterback. I'm gonna get to your comment section. So if that's the bar for good, I'm gonna ask these questions, right? If we allow, Sun Tars 9 says he thinks him of as above average quarterback. So let me ask you this question now. That was kind of a setup question. So if we allow Justin to get settled into a system, right? Jay wasn't a leader. That was one of the biggest knocks on Jay. If we allow Justin to settle in the system, what is the floor for Justin, and what's the ceiling for Justin? I think the floor for Justin, if we allow him to settle into a system, the floor for Justin, if we get good personnel around him, and we'll get a good system around him, because Jay had some players around him. We may not like Jay, but Jay had some dudes around him. Jay had Brandon Marshall, he had Alshon Jeffrey. He had some good offensive linemen during his tenure. He had some pretty good running backs. Jay had a defense. So if we allowed Justin to we allowed us to build that team into the same status, I feel like, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong or not, I feel like the floor for Justin is Jay Cutler. The ceiling is wherever we want to put it. Disagree with me. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments. I feel like the floor for Justin is Jay Cutler, maybe around the range of Jay Cutler, but I don't feel like he can be any worse. And if you have a Jay Cutler with a good attitude and a good work ethic and good decent leadership skills, you can do some things. There's no reason to take a quarterback in this draft. We need MHG and weapons, maybe a defense tackle from Illinois. I like to take Sebastian. Hang out with me, Sebastian, this first time. I'm seeing your name in the chat, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us, bro. Mad respect to you, bro. Hopefully this finds you well. I agree with you. I just don't feel like – I feel like we have too many needs on this football team right now. And listen, I feel like equally we have Justin and we have Tyson Bagent in the building. We have Justin, we have Tyson Bagent in the building. The two of them together, pushing each other, complimenting each other. And especially if we get a new offensive coordinator, I would like to see both of these quarterbacks with a new offensive coordinator. I just would like to see both of them with a new coordinator. I would. Or, you know what I'm saying? The clouds strike, the clouds break, and a miracle happens. And, you know, God speaks to Luke Gessie in his best James Earl Jones voice. And he wakes up and he starts putting these guys in position to succeed. So I like to take. And y'all know, bro, I'm not a get along. I mean, if I see something that I totally disagree with, we can have a debate, man. We can debate it, but I'm always going to put some logic behind it. I like you to say, hopefully Getsies get on the same page with Justin. I agree. Hopefully they get on the same page with each other, man. I remember Raiders games where my guy Michael White says, I remember Raiders games where they did just that. I think Gruden coached against us. I know what you're talking about, Mike, where you went 22, 21 personnel, run heavy, play action. I agree. Matter of fact, I think if I recall, Jay did that in the London game. We might be tracking on that. I think it was in the London game where he just smacked us in the mouth, bro, bullied us. I remember him hitting Khalil. He was crack blocking Khalil Mack, pulling guys to smack Khalil Mack from every angle. I felt bad for Khalil Mack during that game because, you know what I'm saying? It was like it was personal from John Gruden in that game where he just schemed just to beat Khalil up. Man, y'all, bro, I can't keep up. I got to start talking faster. I'm going to get some feedback, popping sounds on my end. I'm going to fix it up. That's probably because I'm so excited. Sebastian, I'm moving around too much into my headset. So I'll try to calm down a little bit. Hey, Coach. Great catcher show. Chris from Barfly Tailgate on his Ballroom Network. Hey, Chris, appreciate you hanging out with us, man. We got to link up at some point. Always good to catch up with a fellow Barroom Network guy, man. Y'all do great work over there. I don't get a chance to always catch all the shows. But I'm happy to be part of the family this year. Y'all can catch me on the Barroom Network at the halftime show and post-game show with John Buffone and Danny Scheinman, halftime show and post-game show on the Barroom Network, man. We always have a good time on there on that during the game. Usually we're frustrated, but nonetheless, man, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Coach T, bring that fire and the truth up on here. Sebastian, man, I'm trying to. This was only supposed to be a test, man. I'm testing a new platform. I'm starting my StreamYard journey. My good friend Aldo over at Barroom Network and some other guys were like, Coach, you got to move over to StreamYard. And I took this little mini buy in the last day and a half to learn a whole new platform. And this is how I'm able to bring the show to y'all, man. And I'm loving the results I'm getting already, man. already I've broken the record for the number of people in the chat. Now I don't know if it's the time of day that I'm on. I don't know. I don't know if it's the time of day that I'm on or what, but I might have to stick. I'm definitely sticking with the platform, but I might have to adjust my times. By the way, man, y'all can normally catch the show. Y'all can catch the show. The pregame show is on Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central. Also, during the week, I'm on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do a show at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central. And I do focus on, breaking down the X's O's. So I do film study and let y'all know why I'm coming up and how I'm coming up with my takes. So I usually do film study, breakdown film. We go through the playbook. It's called Coach T's Playbook. I'll bring the graphic up for y'all real fast. I think where we really start having conversations is the coordinator, offensive coordinator, Luke Getsy, and the position coaches. Usually logic tells me that you start firing from the bottom up. If you're not getting production out of particular positions, at certain positions, and you got talent at that position, right? And you start looking at what the coach is doing. If you're not getting production at running back, cornerbacks, right? Whatever position you choose, and that's a question for the chat. What position group do y'all believe that we had talent at that we haven't seen enough production out of? That's going to be a question for y'all. But usually you would start at the position coaches and work your way up to the coordinators. If we have talent at those particular positions and we're not getting productions, what positions do y'all feel like we might want to take out and start replacing coaches in those positions? And then you move to the coordinators. So the real conversation starts for me at the coordinator, because I don't think in reality Coach Flus goes anywhere, especially if he can win at least 3 to 4 more ball games. The magic number for me is 6 or 7. I don't really want us to win above 6 or 7 games anyway, because I want us to still be in contention for 2 top 10 picks. And I think 6 or 7 is the magic number. I think if we win any more than 7 ball games, we're going to move out of the top pick with our own pick. And I just want us to stay in the range where we have 2 top 10 picks, because if you trade out of the first pick, Carolina's pick, we can still move back and to 3rd or 4th and get a haul, right? With that pick along, and then we can do whatever we want to with our pick, move up, move down, and still be good. So I hope I answered your question right there, Chris. And we'll go like that. I lost myself in my comments. Oh, here we go, Chris. Michael White said, I got you. Do you think they'll open up Chris making me work today. Do you think they'll open up the offense when Fields returns? I'm praying so. But again, there's a certain style I think we should play, Chris. We should, and I told, people that's been part of the channel for a while, what specifically to look for. If there's a fullback on the field, Kari Blasingame is on the field. I said this last year. I went to the Green Bay game in Lambeau last year, and I noticed just sitting down a fan, when Kari Blasingame was on the field, good things happen for this offense. There's a style of play that this offense has to play in. That's 12 plus personnel, 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, 2 running backs. 2 backs, a fullback and a running back, 21 personnel, 22 personnel. So 12, 13, 21, 22 personnel is how we have to play. I always get nervous when I see Luke put us in 11 personnel in gun and we're throwing the ball. It no matter who the quarterback is. I just don't think his route concepts beats defenses enough, right? And I'll give you an example. The New Orleans game when we were only a touchdown back, I actually went back and looked at the tape during Coach T's playbook, and I looked at that last quarter of the game where we went interception, punt, interception, fumble, and we wet the bed, right? Luke went heavy, empty formation, 11 personnel out of gun, and tried to throw the ball all over the field. And what I look for specifically, I'm looking at detail. This is why y'all got to join Coach T's playbook on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 Eastern, 3 Central, because I'm looking at the details, and I look for how many times in the 4th quarter of the New Orleans game did our route concepts beat the defense's coverage. That's what you're looking for. That's how you know if your coordinator is dialed in or not. And the numbers came back. It was less than half the time the route combination that Luke was calling beat New Orleans defense's coverage, right? So if they call cover two zone, did he have cover two zone beaters on? More than one route, right? More than one route. Was it beating the coverage, right? Less than 50% in the fourth quarter. Usually he might have had in the times that he did beat the coverage in the fourth quarter of the New Orleans game, there was only one route open. There was only one route open, and it wasn't the primary route. Listen to me. It wasn't the primary route. So the ones that I did give Luke credit for was not the primary route. It wasn't the first and second read in a lot of cases. It was like the second or third read in a lot of cases in the situations I did give him credit for, right? So when he's heavy out of 11 personnel, empty personnel, his routes aren't winning versus the defense at less than 50%. And those are not the first, and those the where he is reading is not his first and second, third read. That is very telling for an offensive coordinator. Very telling for an offensive coordinator. And that's the kind of things that we break down again on Coach T's playbook. So I want y'all to hang out with me because, listen, I'm just not a guy out here talking. I also, coach the game, and I like teaching too. So a lot of these guys that hang out here that's been part of the show for a while, like Bear Truth 9, they know how to read coverages because being part of the show. They know how to read coverages because I've given them the acronyms for how to read coverage. They can watch football on TV and be able to guess what coverage the defense is in because they know how to follow along because they've been hearing me say the same crap so much. Chris said he wants them to surround Justin through the draft with better players. Listen, build a better football team. I'm just saying build a better football team. Like I said, bro, boy got upset because I was focusing in and I have a graphic that says field soldiers. Well, it's my show. I can do what the hell I want to with it. But here's the truth of the matter is we have two pretty good quarterbacks. If you combine the two quarterbacks in the room, we can be competitive. Build a better football team around both players, and let's see what this coordinator does, and let's see what happens. Center position is very much need. Here's my take on that. I'm gonna try and go super fast. Here's my take on the center position because I've heard that and I agree with it. However, spend the money, Ryan Pose. I'm not a big fan of rookie centers and rookie left tackles. I said this about Braxton Jones when he came out. My initial take was wrong because Braxton turned out to be a better player initially than we thought, but he still did get exposed in his first year with the bull rush. Now, I watched the game film. Shout out to I Am Bear Down on Twitter. I watched the film because Brody he publishes a post all of the game film for offensive line, especially key offensive line. I did watch every snap Braxton had in the last game, and I wasn't overly excited to say like, oh man, his performance was so great. We don't need to draft a left tackle. It was okay versus a okay Carolina defensive line. I want to see what Braxton does versus Aiden Hutchinson this week. By the way, I'll be at the game in Detroit. I want to see what Braxton does versus Aiden, and I want to see what Braxton does versus Myles Garrett, a true power rusher. And you better guarantee that Cleveland's going to make sure they line him up in front of both Braxton and Darnell Wright, and we're going to get to see both of those guys get tested. Hopefully, we'll get a bunch of one-on-one reps with them, and hopefully, we don't get Justin Keel in the process. But I'll test him. Let's see what he got. Let him go against the best so we know what we got out there. Michael, real fast. To watch, I think, more play action, force teams play, pack the box. I agree. Let me see. I'm looking for question statements. But, Coach, why the analysis not going on a Jay Allen, T. Lawrence, and a few of the quarterbacks that are playing bad, not hating on them? Oh, I mean, you know what I'm saying, bro? I honestly, man, I don't know. But listen, I think the national media, when it comes to Justin Fields, the national media is ill-informed, right? The Bears local media, the DIY media, and local media guys like the Barroom Network, guys that cover the channel, Herb Howard. I don't know however you feel about CHGO, like a local Bears DIY media and local beat. We have a better feel for what's happening in Chicago than national media. They need storylines with ESPN and outlets like that, so they're not going to drive in on the details and storylines for Justin Fields. A lot of the national media guys are like, "Hey, trade them to get them out of Chicago because they're down on Chicago." And I got this, man. It's this thing about the national media in Chicago. Period. I feel like they hate on Chicago. Period. Not just the organization. They hate on the city. Like, I don't know what that's about, right? Because Chicago's like the third largest media market, and I don't know what that is. But I just don't feel. I feel like they hate on Chicago. Period. Right? They don't give you nuance. They don't give you details. They don't send people to the city to really investigate the story, deep dive in the story. We got my buddy Pat, the designer, over the Windy City Breeze on ESPN 100. Shout out to Pat, man. He's doing his thing. I saw this grind and get promoted to the next level. People like that pay attention. You know what I'm saying? We got our local stars that's on ESPN 100. We got the guys at 670 The Score, who I respect more this year because I paid more attention to them this year. Like, it's one of those things, man. I appreciate you too, son Taurus. I'm sorry, son Taurus 9, man. I appreciate y'all guys, bro. I'm trying to get it together, man, over here. I'm behind, bro. I'm behind. I see the Jay Cutler comments. Everybody said he was good. He was good to average. He's good to average. L.A. Cheatham says if Justin gets the same time Jay Cutler had, Justin will attach more winning to his Jay. You know what I hate, man, about the Justin Fields haters, man? I hate the few things that people say about him that I hate. I hate the 3-year argument, third-year argument. He's in year 3. First year, Nagy, total crap show. 2-year, no talent, tank season. We had no talent around him, and the dude rushed for damn near an NFL rushing record. No talent around him and a tank year. So if you really want to count a year, I'll count this year as a true first year Justin Fields, Luke Getsy getting together, because towards the end of last year, where I expected to see growth in a lot of situations, and there were games where Justin didn't play, like the Jets game, and I'm evaluating Luke Getsy's play calling and what he's doing, that I'm like, all right, bro, something is not right. He has holes in his game. He doesn't have any short in-breaking routes. He doesn't call the slants. He doesn't call the digs. He didn't call rubs. He didn't call picks to free these guys up. You tell a lot about a guy when he has less talent and his ability to manufacture points when he has less talent, a la last year, Brian Daboll didn't have a whole bunch of talent on that team, but he somehow manufactured a playoff appearance out of it. So, why not our guy? I'm just saying. I think I'm gonna like this one. Rock Davis says, "Yo, 2 things do you never have in Chicago: good play caller and offensive lineman." I don't remember in the last several years where we had the two together. Well, we had a good combination, right? Where we had talent, a good offensive line, at the same time. When in the last I don't remember when the last time we had a good offensive line.